Hi.
Alright, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new here, my name is Nikki and this is my book nook. Y'all, today we are talking about Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. Y'all, this is just one of those books. It only came out a few weeks ago, but it has quite literally taken the world and my Instagram feed by storm. Everybody and their mother is reading this, everybody is talking about it, and I must say I understand why. I mean, the second I got like vague whisperings of what this book was about, summer vibes, childhood friends to strangers to lovers, told in alternate timelines, like if you guys know me, you know that is right up my alley. Once I heard those like few vague things, I was like, hey, I'm not looking up anything about this book. I'm not reading the synopsis. I want to know nothing. Instant buy, and I'm so glad I did, and I'm so glad I read it right away because I fully understand the hype. I'm so here for it. This book just, my heart, it was exactly what I needed right now, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about it, so let's just get into it. Essentially, the story of Every Summer After takes place over the course of 6 years and 1 weekend at the same time. When the story starts out, we meet our main character. Her name is Persephone, but she goes by Percy, and pretty much at the start of the story, it's present day, and Percy is coming home and she gets a phone call, and you can tell right away this voice on this phone call is somebody that she obviously hasn't talked to in a very long time. She's very caught off guard by it. His name is Charlie, and he pretty much is like, Percy, oh my god, I know it's been a really long time, but I just needed to call you and let you know that my mom has passed away, essentially. And you can see that Percy is very distraught over this, and in her mind you can tell that her and Charlie have history, but even more so her and Charlie's brother Sam clearly have a lot of history, and you can tell that there's been a very long time since they have seen each other, and she's very conflicted about this whole thing, but hearing that their mother has passed away, this is obviously a very big deal to her, and no matter what has been between them, she's like, of course I'm going to come there and be there for you for her funeral. So after this first initial sort of chapter, we start to learn and understand the history between Percy and these brothers. Basically, whenever Percy was going into the 8th grade, I think she was about 13, her parents, this entire story is set in Canada, so her parents ended up buying this lake house, and it's where they were gonna spend their summers, where they would go just kind of to get away. It was sort of like a little vacation home. So we see as this story flashes to the past, the first time that Percy goes to their new lake house, the first time she moves in, and her very quickly meeting the two boys that live next door, Sam and Charlie, obviously. Sam is Percy's exact age, Charlie is a little bit older, and Charlie is cool, but her and Sam just really hit it off right away. They just are two peas in a pod in a lot of the same ways. Like, they just have this really strong connection, even though they are very different as well as similar at the same time. Like, Charlie is very like determined and super smart and like wants to be a doctor and has all these like goals and stuff, where Percy is more like creative and wants to be a writer and is like not quite sure what she wants to do with her life and doesn't have everything all planned out. They're different in that way, but like when it comes to everything else, like they just are like two puzzle pieces clicking together, and their friendship as they're younger is so freaking cute. Like right off the bat, I was so sucked into it and so there for it. It was just super, super cute. So as this story goes on, we basically flash between the past and the present, and so every other chapter that is flashing from the past is like a different summer that Percy went back to stay at this lake house and the times that she had with Sam and Charlie while she was there. So we're seeing present day now, obviously Percy going back to this same town that her lake house was in. Her parents no longer own this lake house, evidently, present day. She clearly hasn't been there in a long time. Again, hasn't seen Sam in a very long time, so this is their first initial reuniting. You can tell that she is very nervous. You can tell that something went wrong between her and Sam, and you can also kind of tell like she has a lot of guilt over it. But of course, the way these stories go, like we don't really know what happened, and that's kind of what you're trying to put the pieces together of this entire time, like seeing this present day tension between them while also like slowly getting fed pieces of the past and like putting it all together. Literally one of my absolute favorite things to read in books. And let me tell you guys, I was so obsessed with this story. Like, I feel like it started at the perfect age of them being 13, because you know, when you're 13, it's like you're interested in boys and girls. Like, but it's very like still, it's that sweet spot of it's still kind of like innocent and pure. So it was really cute seeing them kind of grow up and become teenagers and mature, and their friendship like bloom and blossom, and things kind of like eventually turning into more, seeing like their thoughts of the future and what they want and where they go from here. And obviously there's a lot of heartache involved with this friendship between them because they don't live near each other all the time. They really just spend summers together. Percy doesn't live near this lake town that Sam lives in, so their times together are fantastic, but it's like they're kind of few and far in between. So lots of stuff involved with that. But yeah, without giving anything big away, that's essentially this story, like them coming back together present day and finding the courage to hash out what happened between them previously. And you know, there's a lot of things now present day in each other's lives that make this whole situation a lot more complicated, and I just loved it. It just gave you these really cozy summer vibes because it was at the lake house. They went swimming all the time. Like literally this depicts it so perfectly. They would like jump off the docks together, and it just put you in such a headspace of like warm and cozy summer vibes, the childhood friends to lovers. It was just the perfect balance of everything, truly, and I loved it. There were so many things that I underlined in here, just so many. I'm telling you, at least this is my personal opinion, it's so many times in romance books, like less is more. Like I swear the lines that hit me the hardest are the ones that are just like a few words. It's just like the timing of it all, and there were so many little interactions between Sam and Percy that just like, they just hit me so hard, or they just gave me like the most intense butterflies. Like Carley Fortune, I don't know what kind of crap you put in this book, but like I ate it up. Okay, look, I'm just gonna come out and say this right here. If you guys have read Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, this book to me is that, but so much better. I will not go into my ramble on my thoughts on that book right now. I have a whole video on it if you'd like to go watch it. Essentially, I loved that book with my entire heart and soul, but when it got to the inevitable plot twist, the inevitable reveal that comes with these types of stories where you're flashing between the past and the present, and you don't know, like when people have gone their separate ways, you're like, something made them go their separate ways, like what could it be? There's always going to be a reveal of some sort in these types of books. And the reveal that happened in Love in Other Words ruined the entire book for me through and through, ruined the main characters. Like it just destroyed me, and I couldn't look back, and it was devastating, and it really upset me because I love that book so much. This book, it didn't hurt me. Like it hurt me, that's a complete lie. Okay, it hurt me, but like the reveal of this book, the plot twist of this book, like it so much better to me, and it just made so much more sense, and it hit so well, and the ending and everything all together. Like I didn't finish this book with any anger towards the author. Like I just finished with like butterflies and rainbows and happiness, and like it was just a great time. So in my opinion, because if you've read Love in Other Words, when I was explaining this book, you might think like that sounds so similar because it is like a childhood friends to strangers to lovers. Both even take place at a lake house, same sort of situation, a girl that goes and stays there like over the summers and random weekends and stuff, and boy next door becomes friends with her. Like it's the same sort of vibe, but in my opinion, this book is so much better, like another stratosphere better. But that's just my opinion. Also, while I'm saying this, I'm just gonna say, if you guys are not aware, I published my own book this past week, When Fate Breaks, available on Amazon now. And when I was reading this book, I think it just, again, it made me so warm and fuzzy inside because y'all, these books are distant cousins. Not even sure if it's that distant. There are a lot of similarities in this book and my book. The plots aren't that similar, but also there's a lot of similarities. I'm just telling you, if you really like Love in Other Words, if you read this book and you love it, I think there's a good chance you'll like my book a lot, because childhood friends to strangers to lovers, alternating timelines, some forced proximity, some reuniting, some tension, some angst, some cutesy butterfly childhood moments. They both have them, and I just had to put that out there because seriously, reading this, I was like, I feel like this woman's in my brain because, for real, cousins, I'm not lying. But yeah, that's all I want to say because I want you guys to go read this book. If you have read it already, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. For me, this book just like, this is my book of the summer so far. I'm very, very happy with it. I have a lot of summery books that I'm trying to read right now, and this one is taking the cake so far. But yeah, that is it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.